pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Tonight we have a scheduled speaker, Franco Rossi from CAI Technologies, who's the mapping company that we use for our municipal maps. And he's here to talk about, if I understand it correctly, additional capabilities that are available from the firm that would enhance public visibility to map data.
Correct.
Okay, you're on then.
All right.
And I want to move too.
Okay, well, I want to start out by saying our relationship with the town of Brookfield goes back many years. And some 25 years ago, Brookfield was really forward-thinking and digitized maps and had us develop the mapping in a digital format very early on, as the technology was entering the municipal market in general. The unfortunate thing is nothing's happened since. So there's never been really an effort locally to use the data. Okay. Part of that, I think, is the costs of software and technology in general. Of course, as time goes by, this GIS technology becomes much easier to use, and the tools that we've built make it easy for the non-GIS initiated to utilize the data. So many of our clients now are actually using their digital data to do some of the tasks and the internal tasks, and to get data out to the constituency as easier to access the data. We offer what we call Access GIS. It's a web-based GIS service. I guess I should back up. GIS, is anyone or everyone familiar with what GIS is? Okay, I'm just, in a nutshell, GIS stands for Geographic Information System. And it's simply put, it's taking your tabular data, which in most communities starts with their assessment data. Do you use Avatar here?
Yes.
Okay, so your Avatar database, linking it to your graphic data, which is your tax maps, so that now you have intelligence and you can query, browse, analyze and print data. Okay, essentially making your maps intelligent. Map 209 Lot 10 knows that it's 209 Lot 10, and it knows everything about itself that you have in your database. By no means does GIS stop there. It's a town-wide solution. It should be thought of as that. It's not an assessing solution. It's not a planning solution. I can show you examples of how emergency services use it in some towns. Virtually any department can use it. But that's really where it starts typically, is tax maps and assessment data, because that's the most information you have about parcels, okay, about geographic data in general. Okay. So the town has tax maps. The town has invested in developing those maps and in maintaining those maps for many years. Of course, you have the Avatar database that you invested in and you keep maintained. So you have the data ready to jump into this GIS environment. Okay. I've found the best way to show how towns are using it is to actually show, or to explain how towns are using it, to actually show how towns are using it. I'm open to questions at any time, including right now, before I go in and start opening some sites. What's that? Okay, so what we have here is our current list of clients using this web service. We currently serve nearly 400 municipal, local and regional governments in New England and some of New York. You can see that we have 226 that are using this service. In New Hampshire, there are 63 so far. They're in alphabetical order. I'm trying to remember towns around you, and I'm drawing a blank here.
So Ossipee, go further down.
Yeah. Okay, so we have Ossipee.
Wakefield, Wolfboro,
Yeah, Wakefield.
and Wakefield.
Okay.
There you go.
We can go to any one of those. Well, first of all, we can go to any of these sites. I'll show you when we jump from site to site, they all look the same. The only difference is the data. Okay, so it's a very common tool. And what I'll be showing you is the actual live site. I don't have a canned demonstration for you. It's always dangerous, but we're going into a live site, and we're gonna, so different towns will have different data and different capabilities to show you. When I start getting questions, if I start getting questions, I'll jump to another town. I might jump to Maine or Massachusetts for that matter to show you an example of what you've asked. But you'll see even going out of state, the data's the same, or the application's the same, the data's just different. So you want me to dive in? I don't, do you care, Ossipee, Wakefield?
Wakefield, we're kind of linked to them.
Okay. So I'm opening Wakefield's site. And you see when you open up the site, you get this help tool. You can go through and it'll explain to you how to do different things. You also have help down here where you can print out documentation or run that feature tour that I'm talking about here. I'm not going to go through it, obviously. So here we are, we're looking at Wakefield. We're live on the Wakefield site. So all the information I'm going to be showing to you is open to the public. Many of our clients have staff sites where they have data that isn't open to the public, but it's used internally. It requires password. And some have tools too that aren't available to the public, but they're used internally. Okay? And staff sites are part of the package if you want to have it set up. So we're in the public site. So, I mean, what's typical, someone wants their parcel, they want to look at their map. The important thing to think about in the GIS is when you're looking at tax maps, you're limited by the map. Their parcel could fall on 4 different maps. Someone wants a copy of their map, you got to figure out how to line it up, or you take the PDF and print sections of each one, whatever the case may be. That doesn't exist in your GIS. The town is one composite. So any parcel I search for could fall on multiple maps, but you're going to see it as a whole. Anybody, is there anything in particular you want me to find, or I'll just, okay. I'm pretty sure there's a Smith. So, so I always do Smith, and who knows what I'll find out. But what you'll see is, now this side, whatever I type in up here, it's searching parcel number, owner, or address. So if there's a Smith Road, it will show up in this list. If it's ownership Smith, it'll show up on the list. And the more I type, the more refined that list becomes. So what you're seeing on the left here, that's all coming out. I don't remember if Wakefield uses Avatar or not. Maybe someone here knows. They do. Either way, if they're using Avatar or Vision or whatever it is, the data are coming from there. That's what you're seeing on the left-hand side. On the right, you're seeing blue dots everywhere that there's a record linked to that has Smith in it. Okay, so I'm going down. Oh yeah, this is the Smith I wanted right here. Yeah, there's a link error. Of course, I picked one that doesn't link. Let's try this one. There we go. So it zooms to the parcel. The link error I just said, that's simply an issue of there's a record in the CAMA, the Avatar database, that doesn't link to a parcel. They can go both ways. There could be a parcel that doesn't have a record in the CAMA. Those things, gets cleaned up over time. When we first set up the site, we clean up as much as we can in conjunction with whomever's the individual we work with at the town. But there tend to be some that straggle as you go. That one I just saw is kind of an odd one because there's a photo of the building. I don't know what the situation is there, but it didn't link. This one I happen to pick. You see, if you have photos in your system, the photo comes up. They also have property card. Now this is a CAI property card. It comes with the site. It shows as little or as much information as you want from your CAMA. It's not the property card, tax card that you get when you come into town. I will show you some clients that actually have the property card linked rather than a summary card that we offer. Because they want the public to get through the site exactly what they would get if they came in to town and asked for it. Okay? But this is just a summary of what they wanted to show, a quick summary on the property card. Okay? I can click and get all the assessment data. Again, you show as much or as little from your, it's all public information as you know, but you show as much or as little of the assessment data as you want. And that's established when we set the site up. Okay?
Will it show a drawing, I'm gonna say around, a drawing of the house where you say first floor, 1.5 story porch, you know how they explain.
Building footprint?
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, it can. It doesn't appear that they have them here,
Yeah,
but I'll show you sites that do have that.
I assume the brown is the water, or whatever color that is.
The
I mean,
blue?
the house,
Yeah, that's the structure.
that's the structure, okay.
And the water obviously is blue, well, not obviously, but that's the pond, it must be a property on the lake. So, okay, I found the parcel, I want to print it. Very simple icon, print. Now I can print the map only. That's a very quick and dirty print. And the reason we make that option is because when you start asking for more details, you end up, it takes a little longer to process that print, and you don't want to, wait if you don't need to. We're also subject to the speed of the Wi-Fi here too, but I don't know how your Wi-Fi is.
Good.
Is it? Because this should, I say that because this should have already printed.
That's a little slow at times.
Okay.
And where's it gonna?
Well, I'm, just to be on the safe side, I'm gonna blame it on your Wi-Fi.
That's fine, everybody else.
Everybody else is-
Well, while we're waiting for that to print, there's other tools. You can do a butters request. That's very common. Here's your print. Print it. And it's a PDF, so you can save that PDF and email it, or you can, boy, that is
First
slow.
thing would be good for the planning board to have a hearing.
So that's a quick print. You see, there's no legend, there's nothing on there. It's just a quick print of the map. If I go back, and I'm gonna, at the risk of doing this, if I go down here, I can do portrait or landscape. I'm gonna leave it portrait. I can enter a map title, Smith. I can change the scale. I'm gonna make it 1 inch equals 50 feet. I can show a legend or not show a legend. I'm not gonna show the legend because that'll make it even slower, and since we're kind of slow printing that right now, I'm gonna just run that. So you see it's point and click. You don't have to know anything about GIS, anything about mapping software. Once you see the icons, you may have to explore a little bit, but you see that you quickly print the map. So we'll go back to what I was saying, the abutters. Do you do abutters lists here? And if so, what do you use for criteria? Is it direct abutters, distance, some direct abutters?
Across
Okay.
the street.
Okay, so for direct abutters, we have it set up to do, we'll put in 0. If you do 100 feet, of course, you'll get everybody within 100 feet. Oh, look at that, our print's there. Let's wait for that to. So everything with, so I put in 0 and I click select, and now it's going to it's going to zoom out because it's captured other parcels and needs to. I'm asking your Wi-Fi to do too much here. There's your map. So you see it automatically puts the title in, the name of the town, the scale, a scale bar, the date you did it, and there's your print, and down here there's a disclaimer on the map, similar to what you see on your tax maps. Okay. Wow. try another site, just see what's happening. The risk of really slowing us down.
So you can clog the whole thing up.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not, it doesn't want to.
So the avatar data,
I may plug it into my phone, it might be quicker.
so the avatar data, is it somehow synced at Avatar, or is it synced with you guys?
So when we set the site up, we get an export of the avatar data, and we work with you to determine which fields you want to export and which fields you want to display. So we get that export, we link the two. We work on scrubbing out link errors, and we publish this. Part of the service also, so we're not actually live in the you don't want us live in the avatar site.
Right.
So part of the service includes what we call a data processor. So that will be installed locally onto the computer as long as it can see the avatar database.
Yeah.
So we build that data processor entirely around your processes you use now. So you're updating the avatar data, and you want that reflected on the website to current. You run the data processor and it updates the website.
So
You have
upload it
complete
to you.
control.
Right.
No, you don't have to give it to us at all. We don't even know it happens.
Okay.
You can do it daily if you want. Most towns process their deeds monthly, and they do it. It takes 2 minutes to run.
Sure.
In your case, it might take 4. but it's you can do it. It's quick enough so you can do it whenever you want.
Okay.
Oftentimes, a client will have this site open at their planning board meeting, at all planning board meetings, because they're making decisions about their, various items and on the geographically. So sometimes they'll say, hey, can you run that data processor? We just want to make sure we have the most current data when we run it. Now the parcel data, the lines, the property lines themselves, that part you would still need to rely on us or someone like us to maintain. But the attribute information you have complete control over. We don't even know what happens. I just went to Deerfield's site, and they actually have a splash screen comes up and makes you click through to, Wakefield didn't. So you click, I agree, I have no idea what I just agreed to. It looks like it's having trouble generating, but let's see what happens. The reason I want to go into Deerfield, is because to show you, they use Avatar. Oh, crap. Second time I've done that. They use Avatar. They've actually got the Avatar property card available. Okay, and that has the footprint. That's the tax card you get when you're familiar with. So that's how Deerfield chooses to go that route. Some clients do both because. They'll keep the camera record current to the last tax bill that went out, but the CAI property card will be current, so that's the only thing that gets changed throughout the year if Smith sells to Jones, etc. And then when all the changes to the CAMA become effective, values and everything else, then you run the data processor, there's a checkbox you click, and everything gets updated. Okay? But that's all something we work out when we set the site up with the controls. All that.
When we get changes to the property maps, subdivision, whatever,
Yep.
we mail you the registered copy that comes back from the county,
Mhm.
and then you update the base database.
Correct, the maps, the
map.
graphic, the map.
Okay. How long does that process take?
When you mean on the web, as soon as we finish your update for the year, then we will push it up to the web and update your
So
website.
you do it yearly?
Yearly, yes. Now, we do have clients that do that more often. They have a lot of changes throughout the year, and they want their site. The most we do is quarterly right now, but we could arrange to do it however you want.
Okay.
But typically, when we finish your update and send you your updated maps and data, we also update the web for you.
What happens if somebody wants to be anonymous, they're in law enforcement, they're
Yep.
in something or other, and they don't want people to figure out where they live?
Yep.
What happens?
Yeah, well, there's other ways they can,
I realize.
but just to avoid it happening here, we can keep, let's see, who do we do this for in Molten Borough? we keep what do they call it? Not an exempt list, because it's too misleading. Well, it's a list of records they do not want to show, the owner's name and address, etc. That's you have to let us know what they are. So let's say you keep an Excel spreadsheet or something of what those parcels are, and if it's a spreadsheet, we can build a data processor to grab those. And so when you query that, you get information about the parcel, but you don't get any ownership information or any of that. You might get the parcel acreage and that thing because it's on the map, but you don't get it blocks out all the other information you're talking about. Now, if that's built into the data processor and you're keeping a spreadsheet, then you just maintain that spreadsheet, run the data processor. It'll continually look at that and see if, to block things out. Because there's no way for us to know when a cop moves to town or a judge or whomever doesn't want to have that there. So it's entirely up to you how we address it. But we do have facilities to address that.
Do many towns do that?
Not really. I think off the top of my head, I only think of 3, and only one of them in New Hampshire, and that's Moultonborough. Maybe more do it, but there's not many. So I'm still in Deerfield. I'm going to try that abutters thing again. Let's select that. There we go. Okay, so it selected the abutters. And as you know, direct abutter is across the street as well. So some solutions to that is, okay, put in 100 feet, you'll get across the street. Of course, the problem with that is you may also get someone who's not supposed to be part of it. So we have this add remove tool. Activate that, and I say, okay, I want to add that record. I said that record, and that record, and that record. So now I'm going to zoom back out because we've got a very large parcel now involved. So I've got all those records. I can get an abutters report in PDF format or Excel. So the subject parcel at the top and the abutters are all there. I can get that as an Excel, so I can bring it into a spreadsheet. I can manipulate it and do whatever I want with it. I can also do mailing labels. And all this data is coming directly out of your avatar database, so you would assume it's right. They're getting the tax bills. And Excel spreadsheet. You can get it out in Excel too, because that's set up for Avery 5160, I think it is.
Address one.
Yeah, so if you wanted something else, you could get it out to Excel and set up your own labels, however you want it. But it's as quick as that, and you're done. I can clear this out, and while we're here looking at this, I'll show you various layers. So different towns have different data layers. This is what they have. A common one is flood map. So if I turn on the FEMA flood data, I'm zooming out because I don't know where there's flood data, and I want to be able to zoom to it when I see it. There it is. So let's just grab my zoom tool here. Let's just zoom in here. So now I'm looking at, I can see how specific parcels are impacted by the flood data. And this is all free information. And as part of the setup, there's no additional cost to show that. Whatever data are available in digital format can be included. Ultimately, you decide what you want to show. So that's why you'll see different layers here for different towns, what they want to show. But a great thing about this is this very easy to use measure tools. So someone could, you can say, well, my land's all wet, it's all in the flood zone. We all know the FEMA data. The FEMA data are what they are. It's as accurate as it is. It's the best information we have to go on. It's not necessarily, the absolute. How do I say it? It's not necessarily absolutely correct, but for planning purposes, for our purposes, it's adequate. So I've got very simple to use measure tools. I want to measure an area. Now, I'm not going to be very careful, but I could zoom in and be a lot more careful about what I'm selecting. And you see I've got over here in the corner 3.64 of that 8.2 acres is in flood zone. Now, that's a very valuable tool, that acreage tool as well. We often get questions in the maintenance process. Our records say this is 13.7 acres, but the maps are showing 12. Can you tell us, which one's right? So that's part of our service to you, is to review those things. Well, this is a very good tool you can look at yourself too, just to double check the calculated acreage to see if it's accurate or not.
So you would change the acreage associated with a parcel based upon the state where the towns would do that? Parcel 41 is 24.23 acres.
Mm-hmm.
If you did the acreage calculation and came up with a different number, what do towns do with that data?
It depends. It depends on how the acreage was arrived at. Now, I'm looking at this, and I can see 24.23. That's from a survey. I can tell because it's AC. And over here, you'll see, let me see. Trying to find, there's a lot of surveys around here. But there's an ACC, that's calculated. Okay. So the first thing I would do, if there's a question about this 15-acre piece and you ran a calculation and it comes out to something different, you can't change it, first of all. That you would still rely on us to make the change. But it would be a question for us and say, we'd want to check the source data and just confirm that it's plotted accurately and that the acreage is calculated accurately.
So we were always told that the tax maps are really not gospel, it's the deed.
That's correct. That's correct. The tax map is, from assessment standpoint,
Yes.
okay, just for assessment purposes, the tax map, calculated acreage is what should be used over the deeded acreage. Unless, of course, the deed acreage is from a survey.
Yes.
Okay, so that's absolutely correct. But that doesn't mean over 25 years some errors haven't crept into the mapping and there's a miscalculated acreage, or a parcel was taken off and 5 acres was sold off, and somehow in the process the idiots up in Littleton forgot to take 5 acres off the parcel it came from. Stuff like that happens. So, I mean, what the odds of this being different are pretty slim, but let's let me put my money where my mouth is here. Let's check it out. This is a calculated acreage. I'm not going to be very careful unless it turns out I need to be. 8.4 calculates to, just quickly from this map, and it's 8.2 on the map. That 8.2 is probably accurate. It's not 8.4. But when you start seeing 2-3 acre differences, there's a real question there that needs to be addressed. And that's what we do for you as part of the service.
Well, we'll get questions that are on large plots that are very old.
Yeah.
We're off by 30 acres.
Yeah. So from a deeded acreage.
Yes.
Yeah. I was comparing this calculated acreage to the map calculated acreage. But from a deeded acreage, that happens often. Every town has those. And there's really logical ways that has occurred. When you think about, oftentimes, you might have had a 600-acre farm, okay? Was it 600 acres back when? Someone thought it was. It's the best estimate someone made. It was never surveyed, okay? Well, since then, survey piece sold here. They surveyed 25 acres, they surveyed 50, and they keep, and let's just say for talk's sake, when that parcel was, when they thought it was a 600-acre parcel, it was actually only 570 acres. 30 acres on a 600-acre parcel doesn't seem like such a big deal. When you start selling everything off and all the parcels that are sold off are surveyed and we know what they are, and you've sold off 500 acres, I got 100 acres left. Well, you were off by 30 to begin with. Now that 30 acres is in a 100-acre parcel. That's a much bigger discrepancy. Happens all the time because you don't know how that original acreage was arrived at. That's the value of this mapping. You have calculated acreages on the map that you can hang your hat on. They may not be right, but if they're wrong, we need to correct the map, and there's a reason they're wrong. We either replot it, or it's plotted wrong, and we can resolve the issue.
So how about, you got maybe another 10, 15 minutes at most, all right?
I got as much, whatever you
Well,
want.
we've got a full agenda, so.
Yeah, okay.
I've got some questions.
Yep.
How do users, towns that use this software, save money?
This is not gonna, it's not gonna spit nickels out. This is really a tool to help you do your job better, easier internally. For example, printing a map, doing a butters list, things like that, make better decisions. But more so, it's getting the data out to people so they don't have to come in and get it. We have clients that I can jump to, their surveys are actually linked here. So if you click on the parcel that's surveyed, you click on the plan, you see the survey that was used. So it's getting the data out there so that they don't have to come in, they aren't interrupting municipal staff who have other things to do to get a copy of a tax card or a copy of a map or whatever the case may be. It's also, again, this is not an administration or assessing tool. Emergency services use these things to help manage their, during an emergency. Whether it's school plans that are available to them. This is all on the web, so it's available on your mobile device, wherever you go. So I don't want to take your time, but I could jump you to a site that uses it in that way. Council on Aging data, knowing where the elderly are in an emergency, how to respond, who needs response.
So then we should talk about costs. We have about 500 envelopes we mail out with tax bills. That's the size of the town,
Mm-hmm.
data-wise. What would something like that cost us to use this?
This site, this is based, the ongoing cost is based more on population. You're well below here on the price break. So I can tell you, setting up this site is a one-time cost of $2,500. And then the annual service fee is $2,400.
Do any towns bill, I mean, it's very nice for real estate agents, for mortgage companies, for a lot of businesses out there that come in and ask us for data. Do any towns set up accounts where people pay an annual fee to get in?
I'm not aware of any. Our platform is not structured to have people pay to get in, but we do have some. If you look at this list here, you'll see some are password required. Many of those are, the only reason they're password required is they're reviewing it before they open it to the public. But we have some that have been password required for a couple of years. They're not getting it to the public. I don't know if they're selling passwords. The problem with that is, with this the way we've got it set up now, if you're selling passwords, they're going to get, you sell it to one realtor, everyone's going to have it. So we're just not set up in that way. This is really not set up as a revenue generator. It's set up as a service and the ability to utilize your data internally now to better, I've just barely scratched the surface of all the uses of this thing. I'll show you, there's all kinds of base maps now, so you can look at your parcel data overlaying on aerial imagery. That's a very valuable tool when you're looking at questions and problems. You haven't been able to do that effectively here. You have all the data, it just has to be brought together to be able to do that.
How about training to use it?
Yeah, well, because it's designed for the public to use, it really doesn't require training. You just point and click. However, I have no problem if we were to set something up, then coming here and getting various departments of the town together to show and demonstrate how it's used, and show how other towns are using it to get you thinking about that. There's more training required when it comes to the staff sites, because those are specific. There's specific tools developed that will allow you to do things. If you want to link something, we have a tool that allows you to link a document to a parcel. You don't want that open to the public. Who knows what would get linked? But, so there's little things like that that would require a little bit more training, but it's pretty straightforward.
Are there any fees because we're showing avatar data to the avatar company to show their tax cards?
No, the tax cards, if you want to do what Deerfield is doing, as I showed you that tax,
Because avatar charges if we want to show their cards.
yeah, if you want to show them online,
Yes.
right? But you don't need to do that. What you do need to do is generate PDFs of all the tax cards internally. Now, you could go in and do them one at a time if you want, but in Deerfield's case, Avatar sold them a tool that allowed them to batch all their PDFs at once and spits them all out to be linked here. That is to my knowledge, Avatar sells it as a one-time fee, and it's based on how many, I think it's based on how many records you have. I know Deerfield paid $1,000 one time for that tool, and now they pump out the PDFs whenever they want. But you certainly could do it one at a time manually. The real value of having the actual tax card, particularly with Avatar, is that you get that building footprint. Because they won't let it out any other way. With some other camera packages, we can get the building footprint and show it on a CAI property card. Avatar won't let it out, so we can't do that. So the only way you can do it is to have a PDF of your tax card.
If I want to look at this at home and pick someplace in Wakefield, is that accessible to me? Do I have to go through your website or just go to Wakefield's and go from there?
Yeah, they have links on their website. I don't know exactly where, but towns have them at different points on their website. And it's all, Wakefield, yeah, I didn't have to enter a password, so that is open to the public. If you'd like, I can even email you this as a PDF, and you could click on any one of these towns right in that PDF and jump right to their site, so you don't have to go to each to see if the town has it. I'd be happy to do that. And,
Well, you said Wakefield, Wolfboro, Ossipee,
yeah.
there's 3 in the area that we can resonate with. Okay, do we have any other questions? Yes, Ed, I see you waving your hand.
How often is the photograph that you showed us updated?
The aerial photograph?
Yes. Is that from Google Maps? or-
Well, the one I showed you was from Google, but there's several base maps. Here is the 2015 imagery that's done by DOT. They update it every few years. So when the new imagery is available, we'll put it up there. There's other imagery that's available from Esri, and then of course there's Google down here. I don't know. I mean, Google is pretty current. They're always updating it, but we don't have any way of knowing what the date of the imagery is.
Follow-up question. Do you know of any towns that are using this photographic data to enforce ordinances?
Well, I can tell you what some towns have done. One example is one of our clients. We had the old imagery and the new imagery, and they were having an issue with gravel pit, and they were able to see how that gravel pit had expanded over a few years. I don't know what the issue was, but that's specifically what they used it for. I don't know what other ordinance you might be talking about, but I can't speak to any specific thing. I can tell you that if you can see it, we do have another client who the owner wouldn't let them up on their property, a long private road up, wouldn't let them up they knew there was a lot of building going on, wouldn't let them up. They got the aerial imagery and they could see the structures, so they just did what they did from the aerial imagery that they could see.
Now, what about sensitive information, sensitive infrastructure information? Is that blocked, or are there any other layers here that the public can get to that would give people too much information?
Well, that's a local decision. We have some clients that have their water, sewer, and drainage data open to the public, and some that keep it password protected. So the sensitive data you're talking about, if it's police, there's a lot of sensitive data that they can't make open, not only to the public, but not even to other municipal staff. But it's a matter of what locally you decide you don't want out there, that you want to keep behind the password protection.
Because I know Homeland Security was involved with making sure that Wakefield didn't put their water infrastructure and other infrastructure that was sensitive online. I was just wondering.
We do have many New Hampshire towns that have their water infrastructure online, not password protected. But I think one example is in New Hampshire, E901 has a significant amount of data that towns want. And they don't allow towns to redistribute. They'll give it to you, but the municipality can't redistribute the data. What you can do is put it on your website for local use behind a password. So if we go to Molten Borough, for example, you have to log in. If you log in on the staff site, you can see all that 911 data that you couldn't otherwise make available. New Hampshire is the only state that does that. All other states that we work in, that 911 data is public. They just show it.
Last question. Do you give towns a cost-benefit analysis of how this can save money?
No.
Or is that something the town would have to do?
We don't, and I can't honestly say that it will save money. It will save time locally, but I don't think you're going to be able to eliminate a position or anything like that as a result of it. I'm not sure that I think it's unlikely that it will in fact save money. Now, it could save money for future work you want done because you have more information available to you. But as far as your day-to-day activities, it's not likely to save the town money. It makes data much more available, helps the town make a lot more informed decisions, and I think it better serves the constituency as well.
Thank you.
Good. Any other questions? Okay, let's wrap it. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your time, I appreciate
Very,
it.
very informative.
Yes.
And we'll obviously have to discuss it.
It's amazing what's out there, that people can know. I'm gonna go look at a couple of them.
Yeah.
Curious.
Would you like me to email you that list?
Sure.
I just need your email. Or I could email it.
I can get back to you.
Okay, I'll email it and distribute it.
Sure.
Let's take a 5-minute break while you shut down.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much for coming.
I just got phenomenal.
Thanks.
Okay, but then, well, scary.
Scary call.
Hearing the different things. I mean, I could see Molten Borough, they probably got movie stars and all that type of
Yeah,
stuff.
that's
on
where-
property and zing right in out.
That's where I was.
Oh, there's where Virginia lives.
Right into the
Okay.
governor's property on the lake.
Yes. Of course, they're probably all in trust, so
Oh, yeah.
Go with the road. And
that's true. How many of these do you do a week, these travels?
Oh, I don't even do them weekly. I do have two other. I have a minority shareholder in the company whose primary role is to do this, as well as another full-time marketing person who does it. But I'll do oftentimes 2 or 3 in a week, but not every week.
Okay. And percentage-wise, how many people end up coming on? If you do 50 a year, how many do? I guess it depends on if they can afford it or not, but
When you say percentage, how many towns come
say
on?
out of 50, you did 50 presentations, how many would of these you sign up out of your presentations?
Boy, that's a good question. I would say easily half, more than that. We're averaging a little over 3 a month, and have been doing that pretty consistently, which is why we're up to 226.
Yeah, for us, that's a big chunk of change
Sure.
for a little town like ourselves.
Yeah. Yeah, but we have the interesting thing is that the smaller towns are driven more by, they have part-time hours.
Yeah.
And when they're in, they don't want people coming in and asking them for copies of maps because they got other things to do. So, I mean, we got small towns like Columbia, New Hampshire, and, that's why they do it.
That makes sense.
Stark, Ware.
Put people out of work.
keep it coming.
Do you need a water or something to go home with?
I'm good, thank you. It's nice to get down here again. It's been a lot of years since I've been down here.
Well,
We were still here. We were with you guys for a while.
We have. We appreciate it.
It was way back, I think it was first on the board.
I'll email that list,
All right.
and if you have any questions or whatever, don't hesitate to give me a buzz. I think I gave you, everybody has my card.
Okay, thank you.
Very nice.
Thank you.
Okay, let's move to the agenda. Meeting minutes approval. We've got two sets. Let's do July 12th first.
Make a motion to accept them as presented.
Second motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And then we have the special meeting on July 19th.
Motion to accept.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any public comments? Treasurer's report. Treasurer's report.
Pass on me.
She
Thank you
wants-
again.
Excuse me for
Thank
a
you.
moment.
Good night.
Yes, you want to?
I need to.
All right.
While she's there, can I make a comment?
Sure.
Cost benefit analysis for this would be a good idea, because I would like to know how much time is actually spent, for instance, doing the butter notifications and other items that we would use it for, and see if it makes sense. At least you can justify it.
Yeah, I agree with you, but I don't think it's going to come out that way, right? $2,500? We pay $15 an hour?
Now, when people ask for copies, we charge them for the copies, don't we?
If it's not theirs. Everybody gets theirs free.
So if a realtor comes in and wants a whole subdivision, you charge them for that.
$1 a piece.
Does that happen often? No, so it doesn't.
$100.
Okay, that's it.
Right. It's very interesting data. I mean, it's really good to look at. Does it save us money? I don't see how it saves us money. Okay. Tax collector, we have a report? Nothing? Administrative assistant?
I think the only thing I have is, I was contacted by someone that is a website designer. Do we have any interest in contacting him for any purpose?
I think our website's fine. No?
That's kind of what I thought too, it was just updated, so I just thought I'd mention it.
That's it?
That's it.
Town clerk's not on the agenda. Let's do the town clerk. You're not on the agenda, Virginia. You don't come to a... Yes, but as there's a report of town officials, you're up.
Oh, thank you. Geez, I only want $389. I guess
And he's not getting
24
$2,500 either.
24. All right, here's the RSA.
Yes, ma'am.
And
We
here's
had a discussion, bring people up, we had a discussion a couple of weeks ago about the town clerk's meeting up in North Conway. And we were questioning the 200 or 380?
389.
389. I had a discussion with Virginia about it, and she indicated that she would come to the meeting and talk about it. And she gave us an RSA here.
Did you read it?
Yeah, well, I'm looking for.
It's sort of towards the bottom.
It's interesting. Thank you.
And you asked me for the
yes.
itinerary. Here's the
Yes,
itinerary.
I'm going to jump to the bottom, it's into the
Oh.
middle.
Okay.
For the Town Clerks Association and the Tax Collector Association, such amounts shall be due for an annual membership for the officials therein, providing the amount paid for any one annual membership hereunder shall not exceed $20.
That's membership.
Yeah, so we pay 50.
No,
No, we
Everybody's
pay
20.
20.
What's the 50 for?
That was for the regional,
yeah.
for the registration for the conference.
Oh, that was for the conference. We paid the
Conference.
20 and the 50.
No, the 20 comes at the beginning of the
Yeah,
year,
20 is a whole
Yep.
separate.
every year. membership, that includes the deputy.
Members of these several organizations, in addition to the annual membership fee, shall be entitled to receive their actual expenses incurred in attending the annual convention of their respective associations. The same to be audited by the selectmen of the towns and the finance committee of cities and paid out of city and town funds.
And it's in the budget.
Oh, I know it's in the budget.
You approved the budget last year.
Well, that's okay. Just because it's in the budget doesn't mean we have to expend it, but it's in the budget. I'll
It
give
is
you-
there.
Now, what is incurred, entitled to receive their actual expenses incurred in attending the annual convention?
To stay there for 2 days, 2 days and 2 nights.
But, I mean, you could wanna, I'm not trying to cause trouble, but I mean, what is actual expenses incurred? Does that mean, you're at the bar all night and it costs you $100? I mean,
No.
I have no
3
idea.
meals a day and your stay overnight. 3 meals a day, Wednesday and Thursday, and breakfast on Friday morning. And the 2 nights to stay, which comes to $389. And it has been that for the last 4 or 5 years. Mary Lou can tell you that.
3 years. The
Over
last
3?
3 years. This is the 4th year.
Because the Red Jacket has never gone up on us. That's why we continue to go
Right.
there.
Well, yes.
Because they've not gone, every place else is much more.
Yes.
So
Yes.
try to keep it down for the towns. We continue to go there.
So do you have the itinerary?
Yes.
Is there any reason that you wouldn't wanna just drive back and forth?
Because it's too late at night to drive back and forth. Dinner is until late. By the time you get through with dinner, Wednesday night is the function night, Thursday night's the banquet night that awards presented and everything. That doesn't get over until 10:30 maybe. And that would be driving home. And then going back up there again the next day. Thursday's a very busy day.
Here's what I think. Given that it's been the same price for the last 3 years, I think we should say, okay, we do it this year, the same price as last year. And then I think we should talk about setting a policy for all departments. And we'll have to get some legal advice on this, that in the future, we will pay X number of dollars for people to attend conferences. And put that policy out for next year. And if the conference costs more than that, then it's up to the individual to pay for it. I know what this says.
So if it was in Hawaii, we
That's-
have to pay for Hawaii.
That's,
I wouldn't even attempt to go.
but that's,
Yeah,
that's
you
how,
read that.
that's how we deal with that. We say there's a limit.
Yeah, well, see, I wouldn't even do that.
I'm just using an example.
Okay.
So there's 2 points. There's no change this year. It was 2 nights last year, 2 nights this year.
Mm-hmm.
But then going forward, we establish a policy for all the departments that we limit the amount the town pays per individual for expenses, not the dues to go to or the membership or the fee to go to the conference. But the
The
money,
overall, for the stay, for the whole thing.
yes, we have a policy for the town. If we can do that, we'll talk with the lawyer.
It's fine.
Yeah, yep, let's see, and in the meantime, check and see what if other towns handle it that way too.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty.
So as I recall, you have 2 conferences a year.
No,
Right.
just one. We have a regional,
You have a region,
which is only, 35, I think, per person for Jennifer and I. That's the regional. It's only a day thing. Then the
Okay.
regular conference is either September or October. This year it's October, next year it'll be September.
okay.
But
That's all.
that's a good point. So we should be clear on total.
Which conferences or whatever, because I
The
think there
totals.
are like a regional and like I know for me, I would have a national finance officers as well as a state finance officers if I went to them.
And that's why we would, for all conferences, we'd have to say for all conferences,
Right.
and the treasurer as well as the selectmen, this is our policy. If we go to
Right.
conferences, it's
No, I
no more
agree.
than.
Just, yeah.
In the meantime, can I go to the one in Hawaii?
No. You can, but you're not gonna bill us. You can even bill us, we're just not gonna pay it.
Right.
All right?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
All right.
So who has the form?
I do.
Oh, okay.
It's there, yeah. I think I left the original one there, yeah,
Yeah.
it's all filled out, yeah. Thank you, I appreciate that.
Thank you for coming, Virginia. Anything else to report or talk about from the town clerk?
No, except that we're going Thursday, and we hope to learn a lot of things Thursday about the election.
That's
Yeah, it was election training
Election
session
training
on
on
Thursday.
Thursday. That doesn't cost anything.
And that's the one down south, Rochester.
No, we're going
Tomorrow.
tomorrow.
But it's only, I was gonna go as a selectman, it's only 15 minutes for the selectman.
The last 15 minutes.
Yeah, last 15 minutes, I think. Fill us in.
I have the paper in there, what your duties are. You want me to give it to you,
Sure.
so you'll know?
Or put it in our mailbox. So
All right, I'll make a copy of it. Okay,
Thank
great.
you, Virginia.
No, except that map was down from 12:30 on today. I have no idea how long, but I was already, didn't have any more customers after that, so I don't know how long they were down for,
The internet or the system?
whole system. Just I called them up to close out, and I couldn't close out. I had to talk to the finance person to close me out to agree with my money. But I couldn't do anything on the computer. So I don't know what thing happened. Maybe the heat got to them.
Maybe.
yeah, that's true.
Okay,
All right, other than that, I can't think of anything else.
okay,
So we
thank
do
you.
learn a lot of things. That's how
Now,
we'll be able to
We'll
do
give
it
you
for
a
you.
quiz when
See,
you come back.
when I-
20 questions.
That's fine.
When I went on these when I was employed, I'd have to come back to the organization and make a report about what I learned. If it was a
Yeah.
valuable learning experience, I had to share it with everyone.
Who am I gonna share it with?
Us, we'd be interested. You could come and give us what you learned when you went to these courses.
Like a trip caption report type thing?
Yeah. So that's what industry does. You
Okay.
come on back and talk about it. You don't like that, I can tell, look at this nonverbal.
Should I go video?
That'd be interesting to see how much is done. I'll take the action out of it, talk to the attorney about drafting a policy that we're gonna start January 1st.
We're gonna call it the McGinley Act?
What's your, I didn't get that one. What happened January 1st?
We're gonna look at a policy for all employees, all offices, on how much we're gonna spend for conferences.
Oh, all right.
Because I see what you say here, it's pretty clear, right?
Yeah, right.
But we'll see what we can do to make it consistent across all the departments.
Every region in the state has a meeting, during certain parts, mostly in the summer. And we can go to any one that we want, but we chose to go to, this is the White Mountain. So Wolfboro, Wakefield, all of us, we go to the same one. And all the state entities are there, and you really do pick up a lot of information. So if you don't go to those, you can't really do your job well. So that's the regionals every year. The conference is every year as well.
Now,
Okay.
Jennifer's not going, or Jennifer is going?
Jennifer's going up on Thursday, that's the busy day. That's when they're all there. Motor vehicles, vitals, everything is there. Secretary of State's office on Thursday, and then Friday morning we have a roundtable discussions and all questions that maybe save up on Thursday, go on Friday morning. And so they all stay, so that people can ask them questions.
I gotta ask, so Jennifer's going up Thursday morning?
Thursday,
Just for the day.
just for the day.
You could go up Thursday morning, or you have to be there Wednesday?
I have to be there Wednesday.
Wednesday, okay, I don't know what's going on
We
Wednesday.
have a 3-day conference, right?
Well,
Two and a
yeah,
half.
you want
Wednesday,
2.5.
Thursday,
Right,
Friday.
yeah,
Yeah.
Thank you.
yeah. Thanks,
Thank,
Rose.
thank you. Okay, so I didn't understand it was a 3-day conference.
Oh,
Okay.
yes, it is, it's 3 days.
Okay, so you're gonna,
19th through the 21st.
thank you, that clears that
Okay.
up, yep. Okay, thank you.
All right, I'll go make a copy of that selectmen's duties for the election.
Oh, all right, thank you.
Save us our 15 minutes and we'll,
All right, we're gonna go back up to the treasurer.
Alrighty. Thank you for giving me the minute. I wanted to talk to Franco from CAI Technologies. They finally straightened out our billing, so.
Oh, take your time, take your time.
So he has finally gotten rid of that past due stuff because they bill us on a fiscal year we pay on a calendar year. So somewhere along the line, many years ago, and they've never applied the payments right since years ago. So we're now set. So thank you for
Thank
letting
you.
me talk to her. Okay, cash in the bank. Meredith Village Savings Bank. I went to profile and said, give me the money. So we now have, I just moved it yesterday, so $703,359.27 in the checking account that I'll move to savings to earn a little bit of interest. In savings at Meredith, we have $43,016.93. And left in profile, there's $12,735.84 for a total of $759,112.04. I have mailed the payroll tax reports for both federal and state payroll taxes for the second quarter ending in June. They're due by the 31st of May, so those are mailed. We just got word tonight and a bill that we are covered for property liability and now workers' comp insurance with someone, whoever we applied to. Premix for the policy year starting July 1st, so that's really good news.
Do we have to inventory all the town land on that for the policy?
I have a list of town,
Land.
not land, just buildings
Okay.
is what I've done. With addresses and values. But that's all I've done.
And I'm looking at
typically.
it from a liability perspective, if someone,
So what has happened in the past, if someone, we take over, what's the word I'm looking for?
Deed somebody's property?
We deed somebody's property.
Mhm.
I then get the tax card and add it. In the past, I've added it. I'm able to add it, was able to add it through the internet with the previous company, and it looks like this company's given me a sign-on. So I'm assuming it'll probably be something similar where I go on and I add the deeded property to the town's stuff at the value.
Okay, because we deeded one piece of property this year.
Yep.
We bought a cemetery last year.
Yes. So we should see if all that's on, and we're purchasing the other land.
Yes. And
Okay,
if there's no reason, because there's nothing can burn, no structures,
right.
then we're happy, but.
I think
Would there be a liability?
I
Could
think-
there be a liability?
my thought is they're looking for structures for first party replacement cost is their primary focus. They understand lands are municipal land, and we'd categorize whatever we have as land. We have land open parcel. The amount of acreage wouldn't increase because there's no first party coverage available for that. It's only liability coverage if someone was to get hurt on that. But that's just property. That's assumed as part of the risk when they give us our general liability coverage. So I don't think acreage, or if you deed a parcel of land per se, as long as there's nothing on it, I don't think it does anything to
So
it.
a tree falls down and we're not liable because it was a dead tree, we didn't take it down.
That would be part of the general liability policy, but it's just that's assumed in the premium.
Okay.
It's not like a count of acreage and then say every acre is worth $5 in premium. They understand that you have land.
Okay.
That's what it should be.
All right, so but I'll go online, see if I can go online and check and see what's there.
Okay.
Check land. Okay. So that's all for me for now. Craig did email me this week and asked for me to do a check for the final payment to Gillum Excavating for the cemetery. So I do have that to sign and then bills.
And trustees of the trust fund meeting, did you go to that?
Yeah, I did. I have a busy life.
Okay, well, treasurer,
Excuse me, I took the folder home. I'll come by in the morning and run off a couple of copies. All right?
Thank you, Virginia.
Thank you.
they were gonna get back to you with the process that we were gonna follow to deposit money into a
Yeah,
Interesting.
I haven't heard a thing. Well, wasn't I supposed to get them something? I thought,
You were supposed to show them cash flow.
oh, yeah. Yeah, well, that spreadsheet wasn't working.
Good night.
Good
Thank
night.
you.
Good night.
They were talking significant interest. They were getting, on some of their investments, they were picking up 6-7% this year.
Yeah.
It happened right after the value of interest rates.
So,
Yeah.
in here I have the cost of the road. That's one of our biggest expenses of the year. So, once I get that written, then the rest of the cash flow for the rest of the year is, I mean, I know the expenses. The county in November, Wakefield in quarterly, and, you know, and the school. So,
Okay, when you get a chance.
Yep.
Road agent, I saw him earlier in the week. He's wrapping up stone. He's pulled some stumps up on Lyford for the trees he took down. He wanted to know where to put them. I suggested that of the 5 acres that we purchased back there, that other road that goes back into that little field where it drops off and we own that land, I said, put them back there, but don't mess with the cemetery land, that we're trying to clean that up. I told him that we are very interested in getting the road sealed with this tar. He put the tar, let's get it down while it's still warm, so he's gonna get on that. He is actively working 3 different sources for pricing this bridge up on Moose Mountain Road. And I said our interest there is so that we know, so we have good numbers for our budget for next year, so we know how much it's gonna cost us to make sure we have the right amount of money budgeted or start saving for it. So he's working.
Well, we've
on-
been saving.
Yes.
Oh, okay, you said start.
You're right. If we need more.
Oh, yeah, okay, fair enough. Just make sure.
And he's got a bunch of, he sifted the dirt, the topsoil down at the town shed. The sifted dirt is gonna go to the cemetery for the grave area. The results of that sifting is some rubble that we have to dispose of, and I'd suggest that we have him, as time permits and money permits, cut some of the trees between here and there. Maybe start on this end. Bill suggested we start on this end, maybe we do the other end a little bit, and start to make some more level area for municipal services.
Yeah, municipal land would be useful for any kind of building or any kind of future needs that we would have.
Sure, and we can use some space here, we can use some down the other way.
Yeah, it would be nice to start here and then we'll see what else we need, but we have plenty of acreage, we can start to make it usable.
Okay, so that's what I said to them, but I wanted to play it by you folks.
Yeah, it's a good clean fill, may as well do it.
Yeah. All right, that was his report. Conservation Commission is not here, they're not meeting this month. Heritage Commission,
Just as a note, you passed planning board.
yes?
Did anything happen planning?
Planning board, yes, they had a meeting.
There were just 2 major things. One was tweaking the rules of procedure for the abutter notification. And, let's see, and we're setting up the gravel pit inspections. And that's scheduled for mid-August.
When you say gravel pit inspections, is that a state or who inspects, I guess?
It's in our ordinances and it's up to the planning board. And we have it's gonna be me and the chairman.
Okay.
Gonna show up. And we've already come up with a policy of how to notify the owners of the pits so we can make arrangements to go visit their property, and we've heard back from them both, and we're gonna schedule an inspection.
Not to belabor, but like, what are you looking for? I guess
Erosion, condition of the pit. It's all,
any kind of dumping, anything like that, anything that would
yes.
cause, okay, just curious.
It's all in the RSAs, we have to go by the regulations to
Okay.
choose stuff like that. And next meeting, we're gonna go over the New Hampshire Planning and Land Use Regulation RSAs that were changed each year, and we're gonna come up with an annual procedure to go through those RSAs, so we're up to date with the ordinances, and also so we can catch the legislation before it gets voted on, and before it goes to committee.
You were previously doing a side-by-side comparison, even highlighting even a single word change, is that an ongoing project, or is that something is that your endeavor personally, or?
Well, we're gonna write that into the procedures for the rules. We did 2014, 2015, and I just completed the 2015, 2016, and that's what we're gonna go over
Okay.
next week.
What happens is they give us an updated document that describes the current state of the RSA, but they don't point out what's changed.
I remember that was a big,
So it's pulled together all the changes that impact the planning board.
Well, they put the changes in the book, but
Yes.
they don't explain the before and after, and if you don't know every single change. And I've discovered some mistakes, which I have to call OEP about, because they're obvious mistakes, omissions that they didn't. So the RSA actually doesn't read correctly in the book, so they need to know that.
But we're using the book. We're using the book because that's the RSA.
Exactly. So it's important to know what legislation actually goes through committee, so before it's voted on, we'll know. So if the planning board or the town wants to have input on any upcoming legislation, we could actually go to committee and formulate an opinion, or maybe we can even be asked to testify on something. So,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you, Brian.
sorry,
It's okay.
you're a conservation now.
Well, it was, no meeting this
No
month.
meeting, yeah.
And Heritage Commission.
Okay, Heritage. We're doing the 9th annual Memphis Barbecue on Saturday, August 13th from 5 to 7 at the townhouse. And I'm going to ask again to see if people in town could help us out. I have 3 members of the commission of 5 that won't be available that night, so I have brought a sign-up sheet if people are able to either sign up or call me or email or call someone in the town for either things to cook or to serve and generally help that night. It would be greatly appreciated. We always feed around over 100 people, and we, again this year, really need the help. So,
And what are you looking for specifically?
looking for people to either if you have a crock pot, we'll be purchasing number 10 cans of beans, and if you could doctor them and bring them back hot in the crock pot, that'd be good. I have written down 5 things of cornbread and what was, and then desserts. What really seemed to the committee to be important was last year, Bill, your wife, made a gluten-free dessert, and that went over well, and people really were looking for that type of thing. So if we could get some gluten-free, that'd be great. And then if you're available to be a server from 4 to 7, that would be terrific as well. So,
You can put us down for the gluten-free and a server.
okay,
Maybe
Great.
2 servers, but at least 1 server.
okay, thank you.
Okay, anything else, Mary?
The lighting at the townhouse is getting closer. The large chandelier that we purchased is hanging from an extremely tall ladder. And I received an email over the weekend asking me what height I wanted it at. And I was like, "Rah." So, got back to Aaron Dame, who's doing the work, and said, really, it's your call. We've got people that have to walk under it. And I don't know if you go by the size of the room, the height of the ceiling. It's a tall ceiling, as we know.
Did you ask Craig? Craig has any insight?
I didn't think to ask Craig
He's
because
the
I
kind of
was
guy
out
who-
of town that day, so I was just trying to get him something back. So he said they're familiar with knowing what to do. They'll make it work.
Okay. I just can picture Craig saying, "Oh, it's traditionally
I
3 feet from
know.
the ceiling." I don't know.
Save the change.
I'll go home and email him. So then the question goes to, do we want to do a smaller version of these lights in the entryway? So I guess what I'd like to say is I'd like to go down this weekend again to wherever it is I went, Rockingham Electric in Newington, and take a look at what the each of the 3 tiers, how they were,
When you see the entryway, you have like,
the one that
Yeah,
we were
the-
gonna put the old one in.
we're back.
It has been mentioned that we might want to think about doing that.
Take a look at it. What?
I don't
So,
want to bring it up in the first.
Well, it's coming right around.
And then I was scorned.
You let that happen?
I don't want that. Well, yes, spending all
I
that money in
know.
there, spending all the money, and then you put up this old.
So-
Well, you look at the old one next to the new one, and maybe people change their opinion.
That's what I said. Is I put an old '78 Fender on a brand new car. It's like, why would
I'll
you?
go down and look again and see what I come up with. I think the one tier was just the bottom tier, so we've got to look and see what would look good. And I'll get back to you at the next, well, it can't be at the next meeting, we're too close. But I'll get back to you quickly.
Yeah, I think if you're going to do that, we just ask Aaron not to put anything up. We'll put
Yes.
a new one. Right?
Yes. I'll email him tonight and say, don't put the small one back up.
Blame it on the selectmen.
Okay. And we'll go from there. We haven't had a light there, so it's not like we have people trip and fall and all that. So.
He said it was almost done to you?
Yes, he did. He said they just have to hang it and finish wrapping it up and they'll be done.
We need some other...
Oh, you'd like a time frame for that?
No, but he was going to put some motion detector lights around here. He was going to put power for Ed and Nason. That's right. So I got to
Okay,
hook up with him.
okay.
Good. Thank you, Mary Lou.
Mhm.
Cemetery trustees?
It's really progressing up there, and they've made some great progress. As you had mentioned earlier, the hydro seeding will end up in the fall. They were mapping out the potential grave sites and selecting a location to put the flagpole at some point. And they'll put that in probably some benches and things. So while he was there, they were working that all out.
Good. Any other boards that we missed? Okay, old business. The new desktop.
Has come in. It arrived yesterday.
Okay.
And I know Lance is going to work on setting it up. Not sure how much time he had today, so.
Okay. And I got my glasses on. I think the next one is
Poll license.
poll
Yep,
items.
I've been working with Jay on that. We should have something together by next meeting.
Okay.
Some procedure and idea what we need to really do.
And I talked about the Moosebound Road Bridge update.
We did.
The date for the Hunter land closing is September 1st at 10 o'clock.
Will you be talking to the attorney
Yes.
before then?
And the closing company.
So I've been trying to find out. I know that I will need to send a tax form, probably some version of a 1099, to Mrs. Hunter on an annual basis. So reading through the 1099s, I see no clear box that information would go into as far as sale of property or whatever. So I called the IRS, and a person to answer questions for that specific thing is no longer available. Please go to our website. So I'm at a loss to know. I just need to know what form to send her. I'm assuming it's a 1099. It may not be.
Would a real estate agent know?
I'll ask the closing company. They would know.
See, they'll know what they send, but see if they would know what I would send each year as we make the payments.
Yep.
And it's interest free, remember, so it's not like it's frequently for your house, you get the one that says how much interest you've paid. Well, it's interest free, but we are giving her money.
Yep.
So
Okay.
if somebody could
I
help
will
me,
do that.
I'd appreciate it.
Okay. Facebook update?
Good. Page and site created. It's Town Brookfield NH on Facebook. I've sent out, at least from my friend list, I don't have a lot of friends, but a few I got. I said, please join this page, and I saw some joined.
How many likes do we have now? Is that the right question to ask?
I guess.
2? No.
Yeah, it was-
I liked it.
It was Dave Champion. We just created it, and I have the email set up. I gave Lori all the email and all the logon passwords. I printed. I said, "Here, just so we have it somewhere." The larger questions are going to be really, what are we going to put on it? What are we going to? Who's going to maintain it, update it? The notifications would come into the email that I set up, which I forget what it was, like Brookfield Selectmen at Gmail, something like that. So the real question is, I like the idea of having it. I like the idea if we can get people on it and traffic and notifications sent out on it, and also say, here's our website as well. So go to the website. This is another means of communication. It just would make sense that we give access to those who need access to post, which would be Lori, Selectmen,
Town clerk?
Town Clerk, tax. So, or they could feed that up to Lori and or I. You can do Facebook from your phone anywhere in the world. So if they want an email, say, hey, could you please post that? Tax bills are coming up. Fine, tax bills are coming up. And that note just goes out there.
Well, we got a dinner coming in a couple, 3 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna get a flyer for our webpage, I think, don't you?
Yes.
do that?
Yes, I do.
So we could use the same flyer as the first thing that we post on.
Yeah.
I was gonna bring some tonight, so I'll definitely have some up around, and I can send you the PDF of it if you want.
And let's see how that works out. Let's get some experience on who's gonna be doing this. I don't think it should be you, Brian.
Well,
Well, we can start with you.
I don't mind
Starting
like Lori and I. Lori does a lot of posting on the website. To me, this is kind of in sync with that. But by the same stretch, I could follow that email on my phone. I've heard you can follow more than one email on your phone. So if somebody wants to say, Brian, can you post this? I can follow my Selectman email, but also then the actual Hotmail email. The actual Facebook email, and post whatever we need posted. It's not going to be dumping tons of information on there, but it's going to be the dinners, this, that, odds and ends that we need.
Well, let's see who generates them, because my belief is whoever's generating within the office should be able to put them up. So if
Is it one more layer of responsibility? I realize people check in, you have friends and all that stuff, but is it one more responsibility when you're mentioning meetings and all that we have to do for things? Right now, they know when the meetings are scheduled. They should know to go on the website to check if we're there.
I don't envision saying select a meeting tonight, or board of, planning board tonight. That's not my vision of what this Facebook is. It's more of a social networking. So when there's something going on or some special event, if you will, that's a means of reaching out. That's what I'm more envisioning this being. If we want to make it more of a constant update, I would prefer not to, because I just think it becomes, like you said, one more layer.
Do we know how many people would be in the town? How many landholders, et cetera? How many, if that was the mailing on that, for the sake of argument, do you know how many we'd have to mail? I guess would be Rose's question. If we did a postcard reminding, if it was worth the money, if we sent it to 200 families or something, would it be worth the return or the expense? That's, I guess, what I'm trying to figure out.
But as far as the Facebook site?
No, I'm sorry, I'm thinking of the barbecue. You get that as an example. It wouldn't be worth it.
I think we put out about 500 envelopes with tax bills in them.
Yeah.
And some of that's vacant land.
Yes.
Mhm.
So it's no more than that.
So I usually advertise it like on the Clearview TV station in Wakefield. I'll do a newspaper article on our town website.
Sandwich board.
Yep. Sandwich boards. And they're all around town, so.
Maybe we should put on where the flyer's missing cat and put a picture of some animal. People are going to run to look at it. Surprise! Maybe you're going to get people to look at it because they're going to say,
Oh, cute
I was
cat.
thinking once we get the lights up, it might be nice to
the animal look. So we
look at the inside of that.
missing cow.
Once we do-
Schoolhouse? Oh, the townhouse.
Yeah, but I think Ed, Ed, you would say it'd be more instant where you can take the photo of something and say, you know, either a picture of the sign or a picture of the school and say, look, we just got this done, or,
Yeah.
you know, or last year's photos of the barbecue scene, and then say, don't forget,
Sure,
Milton's barbecue. You know, and then the idea is just getting everyone here, everyone that's watching, ultimately to go on the Facebook, like us, then also then send that out to their friends and build that network. Sound all right, Ed?
Yes, you also should put the, follow us on Facebook on the page, on the website.
Well, that's something Lori brought up, and we said, yeah, but before we did anything, we wanted to talk, because it makes sense to put that follows on Facebook.
And we also need planning board members, so maybe that would be the next posting on the Facebook, so we can network that around town.
And we're asking for the planning board to give us that information. What they want posted.
Okay. The advertisement of what the duties would be and everything else.
I think George took that as an action item. All right, we have a non-public issue. Can you find the right one there, Brian?
All right, RSA 91A3, Roman numeral 2C, matters which, if discussed in public, would likely affect adversely the reputation of any person other than a board member, unless such person requests to have an open meeting. So that's the one I'm looking to go ahead and do. So I request we go into non-public.
Make a motion to go into non-public for that RSA.
Nelson, yes?
Robisheau, yes?
Zachary, yes?
Who seconded it?
Yes.
I'm sorry, that's why, I'll second the motion, right? Did you make the motion?
I'll make the motion.
I thought I made the motion, but then
I
someone else.
second it.
All right,
All right, so let's have Bill in a second. You've got
Okay.
kind of muddled me, I'm sorry.
now roll call.
Nelson, yes?
Zachary, yes.
Robisheau, yes.
Thank you. And
Okay.
Do you have the paper?
Yeah.
Does anybody, you still got our audience from Iceland?
Yeah. Yes, there it is.
Do they ever have comments?
Can't read them.
Yeah, read them, it's all in some sort of Slavic language.
Well, I know they're watching because it shows up as international. Like people from Italy watch this. I don't know what they're watching.
It could be somebody traveling in Italy, just trying to check on what's going on.
Oh, maybe that
It was
was.
probably somebody that was helping with the dinner.
No, there's actual.
Or checking up eyes.
It's more than just you. because-
No, I wasn't there, it was,
Okay, let's speak to Buongiorno.
Oh, of course I checked. It was.
It was,
I
you said
you
it was
said you
Father
tried.
Andrew.
You said,
It was Father Andrew.
You just don't.
when Bill was there, we tried to check into what was going on.
Did it work?
I don't know, Billy's here.
I knew it was a problem. I don't remember. I know I was going to check them.
Did you have the right adapter?
We had the adapter. You're right.
There you go. So all the foreign visitors, foreign visibility or whatever is from us.
I was amazed over in Italy because the place where we stayed had satellite TV. They had literally, I'm going to guess, 800 stations all over the world. It wasn't all selling things like you did here. They had, I mean, we watched camel racing. I mean, how many people from Saudi Arabia, camel racing? I said, this is crazy. Who watches it? But you watch different things from, India, all these Russia news, all this. We don't have that. I guess, could you pay for it here to get all that?
You want to watch the Brookfield Selectmen meeting, damn.
But I was just amazed what that little hotel covered, and we paid all this extra stuff. See? We could have had that televised.
Okay, I think we're
All
back.
right, man, we're going.
Camel racing. Oh, there you go for
Now we're doing, now we're doing, now we're doing
Okay.
we're doing batteries now.
Okay.
Today.
This meeting went long.
What?
This meeting went long. All right, so we're coming out of non-public. I have to make a motion to come out of non-public.
Yes, I think you do.
Yes.
I'll make a motion to come out of non-public.
I second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Make a motion that we seal the minutes indefinitely.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Take a look at our mail, our bills. We have a letter.
Don't we have another advertising number?
Yes, I'm looking for it. It's over there. I don't have it.
We need a roll call vote to seal the minutes.
Robisheau? Aye.
Are we to seal?
You just need 2/3 to seal. But that's, you can do roll call too, it's safe for now.
That's on my cheat sheet.
Nelson, yes, for roll call, yes. Seal?
Zachary, yes.
Robisheau, yes. I'm looking for that advertising.
Hey, there is some convention here.
Let's see it.
What was it?
No, that was already done. We already did that. That
Was
was
that
an old,
who?
yeah, that was an old avatar, what we did last week for,
That was
the, yeah, Woodward. So we're all set.
I have a note to write a check.
okay. Any other mail here? We got New Hampshire road business this year, the year of the Pearl.
It's like the year of the prayer.
This is for Ed. Give this to Ed, it's all about,
If I think that's, we'll just check.
we've got Moose Mountain Greenway,
Yeah, this is-
the newsletter.
it's like my election.
We'll put that on the table. We have continued Moose Mountain Greenway. We'll put that on the table. Any other mail, Brian, you see it?
No, you and I went through it earlier, there was not much going on.
Okay.
Oh, I was like, what the hell? I changed that. Yeah, I like the clock in the chair. Oh, this is rude.
Yeah.
That makes sense though.
Probably should put that on first.
I feel sorry, these people working out on roofs and doing tar work in this heat, I just,
Well, they're working now on Route 16, starts at 8 o'clock tonight, I understand why.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I never thought of that, I just assumed it was because of traffic.
I think it is too.
Yeah, I think it's mostly traffic. They don't really care that much about the guys working.
Oh, it's gravel.
It's like guys that do roofing, it was kind of heat. Yeah, this guy's doing that paving. Yeah, I don't envy that, man. That's some tough work.
I don't remember, Brian, do you? What the number was we were counting now? Put that one, that's the blacktop, so that was 64,000 and change.
And this was for, what's this other one?
That is for, I think this is when they grounded.
So they're looking at paving cost, that was Stoneham West, right?
Yeah.
The
paving-
grinding, this is the material.
The paving cost is 68.5.
So this came, well, this bill came in at 64,600, but there's also a grinding charge. This is base paving.
Grinding cost $2,700 estimated.
Grinding is way, well, we're over on that.
How much is in there?
20 is 6,600.
We need to adjust that grinding
But this is for longer, this is for 2 segments, right? Isn't there 2 segments of stone on there?
Did we do east and west?
No, we did.
We just did west, we did the
East.
long part of west.
We did east, actually,
East, the longest.
because it was the longer one.
No, west is the long one.
But we just did east.
And maybe we got labeled backwards.
I think you found it.
Oh, here we go. Ed actually fixed the numbers here. All right, I'm sorry. So we do have east. He actually flipped the numbers around. So we get grinding cost of 8,000 and we get paving cost of 77,000.
Good.
Oh, yeah, 99, because we
Yeah,
put 99 in.
Yep.
Yeah, I was thinking we were doing west. I was like, no, that's
That's
good
good.
towards me.
No, that doesn't count Eddie's.
No, that's,
We get gravel cost of 14 grand, so it sounds like we're gonna be within budget on that, no
we
problem.
saw gravel right there.
Yeah, it was a lot. Than that,
The
no.
gravel's 11 grand, right?
Yeah, I think that's what it was. It was a lot.
Oh, where did it go?
You have it?
They were all four there.
Yeah, 12.
Well, 12 grand.
All right, we had 14 down, so.
Good. Good.
No, we did good.
It was a good year to do that. Oh, clock.
The clock in the
Yeah.
schoolhouse.
Joanne's?
A second,
That's
too.
where he bought it.
Thought we could drapes or something.
Where's your sign? Oh, that's your sign sheet?
Yes,
You know what I'm doing, do you want me to still write it down anyway?
no, we'll negotiate later. I don't want you doing everything you said you'd do.
No.
That's too much.
Just, well, that's not, those boys don't work. Let's put some tables up, get some corn, get some beans, get some corn down there, ice.
Electricity went up for everybody or just you?
Yeah.
You too?
That's not bad.
Big time.
If I can remember, it's not that bad.
The electric bill go up?
My electric bill?
Yeah.
I'm New Hampshire Co-op, so
Well, public service went up.
I didn't notice it went up.
Okay, ours did. It was, you noticed
Mine
ours.
did.
Mine's always the
Are
same.
you in the co-op?
No, I'm the co-op. Should be where you are.
Yeah, New Hampshire Co-op.
Mine went
Well,
up.
you ran the extension cords over to her house. I mean, that's pretty cool.
Mine went up.
Yeah. I went up.
Maybe look at it.
Yeah.
I assume because they need the air conditioner.
I just paid, yeah, I just paid the bill, look at the kilowatts used, and
Yeah.
I go, okay.
Did yours go up, Ed?
I gotta take care of
It's the
this.
kids at home in the summer.
AC in the bedroom upstairs in the attic, and I stop running.
Yeah.
I don't think it comes out.
Games.
I'll pay the money to be cool. I'm not talking fancy cool.
Anything else?
That's it for
Anything else,
me.
Bill? Brian, anything else?
I'm good, thank you, sir.
Laura, you're all set? Meeting's adjourned. Thank you. Now.
Are you having a meeting? I have to be.
This is not a planning board meeting. Well, we can consider it socialized. No decisions are made.
I didn't,
That's right. Not that,